What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and this is the complete guide for the Royal Pools encounter within the Prestige difficulty Leviathan Raid. We're going to be showcasing everything you need to know in this video, going over how to do this encounter, focusing on the new Prestige difficulty mechanics, as well as talking about a bunch of tips and recommended loadouts to improve your chances of success. And so, let's get started. Now, right off the bat, you're going to encounter two things indicative of any Prestige difficulty encounter within this raid. Firstly, the revive system has changed. It's exactly like Trials of the Nine, whereas before, if you had a revive token and died and were revived, you will still have that token. But now, if you have a token, die, and are revived, you lose that token. So if 3 different people die, there's only 3 revives available, and at which point, no more people can die after that. Also, the enemies are going to be harder. They're going to hit harder, doing more damage to you, and take more hits before they die. Aside from that, everything is going to seem pretty normal for the first phase, or I should say the first couple of phases of this encounter, and then we get into the more complicated Prestige difficulty mechanics. So, if you can beat the Royal Pools within 1 damage phase, where you kill all of the purple objects, you will actually be able to complete this encounter without any of the new hard mode stuff, so you should try to aim for that. So, you're going to hold open the 4 plates, you're simply going to defend them until you are prompted to go to the middle. Remember, you're going to have 3 people on each side in order to switch who's holding open a plate, because your psionic protection will slowly start to go away every time you hold open a plate or are in the water in general. And then once you have held open all 4 plates, you're going to again go to the middle and start the damage phase. From the very center platform, you can damage all of the purple objects while also defending yourself and the rest of the team from adds. It's probably best to split up 2 people using supers and heavies to deal with all of the adds and especially the bathers, while the other 4 people focus on DPS. From this point, if you are not able to kill all of the purple objects, you will encounter again the hard mode mechanic, which, as you can see, a symbol appears above this middle platform. This symbol dictates where you need to go. Now you'll notice that this is also accompanied by the debuff Burden of Worthiness. So, my symbol was axes. I went to the plate that displayed axes, and as soon as I jumped on and got the orb that was on it, it went away. The Burden of Worthiness disappeared, and likely it's back to normal. So, after the first damage phase, everyone look at that middle platform, see what symbols you have, and go to the respective symbols. Now, there is a 4th kind of weird symbol here of 2 Cabals holding spears, but that is the back right platform when you're looking, forward as you're entering this arena. Presumably, because the debuff disappears right away, you may be able to jump on the platform you're designated for and then simply get off and go to your normal platform. It's going to take some moving around, but it may be the best way to go. But the real key for this encounter is again ignoring all of that by finishing this encounter within 1 damage phase. So, how do you accomplish that? Well, the number 1 thing I would recommend using is the Merciless exotic fusion rifle. Firstly, it takes down the bathers, even the increased health Prestige difficulty bathers, very, very quickly. You are going to be at a loss if you're just using the Merciless to damage the bathers. You're going to expel more ammunition than you get from the ammo packet dropped by the bathers. But if you have a pulse grenade, that does fantastic damage. Any grenade, really, as well as potentially you can use your supers. Remember, during the damage phase, you're not going to use stuff like Slam or even Nova Bomb. That stuff does not much damage, if any damage at all, so you can use those against the bathers in order to kill them, produce orbs, and so on. Now, the reason I suggested the Merciless over a shotgun is because the Merciless is also fantastic during the damage portion of this encounter. Each bolt does over 300 damage, so every time you shoot the Merciless into one of the purple objects, it does a ton of damage compared to pretty much anything else. You also have to stand on this middle platform in order to damage these objectives, so using a shotgun likely wouldn't even be able to reach a lot of them, let alone do its maximum damage potential. Warlocks will likely have an easier time of this encounter because healing rifts are incredibly useful, and that's because there's a lot of adds and they pressure you a ton. You're really gonna have to be on top of killing your scions and your legionnaires as quickly as possible. In normal mode, you may have the habit of kind of ignoring them, they're not that big a deal, but again in hard mode they hit a lot harder, so leaving a couple of scions behind is really bad for yourself and the next person taking over your plate. So using something like the Better Devil's Hand Cannon that's going to stun them and kill them in only a few shots is very good for this encounter. It also does pretty heavy damage against the bathers as well. Quick tip here, although rocket launchers can be effective against the bathers and running a rocket with cluster bombs is great for a bunch of other parts of this raid, it's terrible in this encounter because the rocket launcher does basically nothing to the purple objects. So again, something like a fusion rifle in general, but the Merciless especially, is going to be able to have that functionality of dealing with both sections of this encounter. Also, something I want to mention because I see so many people do this, if you're in the middle platform during the DPS phase and you're being damaged, get out. Jump in the air, jump to the side, but do not stay in that middle section because you will die. Often, your buff wears out or it just isn't applied properly, but it's not worth dying and wasting some of your valuable revive tokens just because you want to get a little bit more damage. Jump off to the side and it will often reapply itself or reappear in the middle and then you can go and grab it. But do not die trying to get that last iota of DPS when you're being damaged in the middle. Unless, of course, you're just about to kill the last object or something like that. And so guys, that is it for this guide. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. Now, if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now, if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.